White Collar. Yes, watch it. TV does many things for the viewer, you know? For me, especially, it's a escape. Just like music and dance and art, it's a way for us to kind of like leave the routine. You know, you wake up, you go to school, you eat, you do your homework, and then you ultimately go back to sleep, and then you repeat the day all over again. TV gives us a way to kind of like leave that. It gives us a way to live a life that isn't really ours, but that also is somewhat of a, like, I want to say guilty pleasure, because it's not our life that we're living when we watch it, but then again, it's not the life that we really want to live, but it's just so entertaining to see that life, to feel how it is to be that person for that brief moment of time that we're watching. White Collar is a very character-driven show. Focuses in on the people, and that's who we invest in the most when we watch TV. The main character, Neal Caffrey, played by Matt Bomer. Matt Bomer in a suit. Can you really go wrong with that? No, you can't. But it's also the chemistry he has with his other lead actor, Agent Peter Burke. And also Kelly Kapowski from Saved by the Bell plays Burke's wife. Again, you can't really go wrong with that. The thing is, White Collar is about Neal Caffrey. He's a con man who starts working for the FBI. In return, is allowed to live outside in the real world for the rest of his prison sentence. You know, it's a simple, formulaic show that everyone has heard of. It's a cop show. It's a consultant show. That he's a criminal that's helping the FBI. It's a lot like the movie Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's got a lot of things that people look for. It's a sexy show. And then it's also got the aspect of pulling one over on people. That always gets people, like, that gets you and gives you a thrill. It's wrong, you know? But it's shown in a light that it's right. You know? Isn't that what sexy is? The chemistry between Burke and Caffrey is also really well done. You really get to feel the connection, you know? You get to invest. And that's very integral in a show like this, so that's another reason why to watch it. It's also got mystery. Every season's plot is something that you, along with the character, work to kind of reel in and figure out together. It's very plot-driven. It's very revolved around Neal and his current predicament and how he's potentially gonna get out of it, because Neal can never just go by the rules. He has to use the system to his advantage. And then that's something that you'll see constantly throughout the show, which is amazing, and that's another reason you'd want to watch it, because you want to see what does Neal do next, you know? And he also has another character named Mozzie, his partner in crime, and Mozzie is phenomenal as well. So the cast in general is, again, amazing. There are caveats to the show. It is a cop show, so it is very formulaic, you know. Like every other cop show, there is crime. The consultant uses his know-how and skills to find a different perspective on a crime and ultimately solve it. Again, like I said, though, they kind of get over this by being very story-driven. You know, it's not too focused on the crime that's going on. It gives you a little leeway, you know. Cop shows always give you a little leeway because you don't have to always focus too much on it. So it's a fun show to watch. You don't have to really pay attention, but it does help to pay attention because, again, like I said, there is a very integral story behind. Personally, I love the whole con artist aspect of a show, or of movies in general, film. So it hits the sweet spot for me.
Tastes like candy canes at Christmas.
It's because it goes through like heist, and it goes through cons, and then it'll tell you how, you know, his plan always comes together. I even wrote a paper once on how White Collar can be connected to Western film, and then how, you know, the Western hero, the gunslinger, the outlaw that comes to save the day, and then ultimately rides off into the sunset. I connected to how Neil Caffrey is very similar to the Western hero. He's just a modern interpretation of it. And then again, like, it is different because Western film, those are movies, you know, this is a TV show. So Neil Caffrey isn't ultimately gonna necessarily walk off into the sunset at the end of the 2 hours because this is a show that spans 6 seasons. I've never watched a show that I would say is perfect. White Collar is not exempt from this. It's a very character-driven show, so it's a very acting-driven show. So they don't rely too much on special effects and whatnot. So when they do need special effects, like let's say something is being blown up or Neil is jumping off of a building, the CGI is horrendous. Okay, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's really bad, and it's very laughable. So I guess like you'll be fine if you keep an open mind about it. The certain aspects of crime that they'll utilize, like pickpocketing, just comes naturally to everybody in the show. Apparently, 5 seconds and you're in, even if you've never picked a lock. That's very unrealistic. But I digress. That doesn't really matter, does it? No one really knows that. So, I mean, they can take liberties with it. I've rewatched it. Again, cop shows are I'd say rewatchable just because they're very easy to watch. You know, you can, once you've watched it once, you can easily watch it again, but like leave it in the background for noise. Another great aspect of the show is its appreciation of art. Neil Caffrey was a con artist, but he's also a skilled forger, and because of that, they have a lot of episodes which involve art. I personally love art, so having that aspect of the show really kept me in and furthered my interest in art, I'd even say. It just gives you a side of art that you maybe didn't know, and then it also gives you a kind of mysterious aspect to art because of how art can be used, how art can be duplicated, or how art can be sought after. Now, to summarize my points, White Collar is a show I definitely recommend to anybody because of, well, many things. It's, like I said, it's sexy, you know? It's mysterious. It has plot, but it's also easy to watch. Great chemistry between actors as well. So, you can't really go wrong with it, in my opinion. But then again, it's very geared towards the shows that I prefer.